Good morning, everyone. Guys, it's coming. The CIA and MI6 are warning about this now. Guys, if you remember me saying this like months and months and months ago about the risk of sabotage to our country and to Europe and the West as a whole, please put a comment below and remember when I said this. I've been saying this for such a long time, guys, because, it's inevitable, all right? When you think about these, when we think about sabotage, we have this image of somebody in a tuxedo with a little explosive charge climbing up someone's drain pipe with a diamond glass cutter and doing something cool. Guys, the reality is, in today's world, you don't need to do that. You don't need to send your best Amiga wearing, tuxedo, Aston Martin driving guy into a foreign country with all his little earpieces. That doesn't happen anymore, guys. It's expensive. There's a lot of things that can go wrong with that. Now, I'm not saying that doesn't happen. You've got incidents in the United Kingdom where, the Schiphol poisoning, for one example. But what is happening right now in the United Kingdom is we are having a mass influx of people coming to this country who do not share our values. Guys, those people who come on the boats, by definition, now I'm not saying that, but this is difficult. Right, this is going to be one of those semantic wording things, all right? They're coming, a lot of them will be coming here for a better life, but they're coming to our country illegally. There's no dispute in that, guys. The legal way to come to our country is to apply for a visa in whatever country you're from. Your visa will either be accepted or rejected. Then you come once it's been accepted. And again, there's the argument about, how much that's costing us. But we're not going to go down that route. We've done that enough. We're going to go down the route of these people who are coming here illegally. They're illegal. So they're criminals already when they get here. So a lot of them, and I said this, I said they go into this, yesterday I did a video, I will link it at the end of this one. I said they go into the economic black market. A lot of these people find themselves working cash in hand, doing jobs for people, off the books. Now, guys, there's no denying that. That's happening. It's a reality. It's on our streets. We can all see that every time we go somewhere. Every time we go somewhere, it's all over the mainstream media. Now, months and months and months ago, I said, right, okay, as these wars and these conflicts escalate, and they will escalate, guys, because people are making so much money out of them. That's why they're going to keep escalating. When these escalate, our adversary nations, so if you're in the West, your adversary nations are like Russia, Iran, potentially China, although depending on which way you look at it, China's not an adversary yet, North Korea, all these places, it makes no sense for them not to sabotage our infrastructure. Now, by sabotaging our infrastructure, I'm going to focus on water, guys, all right? But there's thousands of different examples I can give, from utilities to healthcare, to benign things that you don't expect. Like there was one of the airports, I think it was Manchester Airport, off memory, but although it may not have been, but a piece of cable was cut out of Manchester Airport. Now, was it Manchester Airport? I can't remember. I'll try and put a link in the description. But basically, this piece of cable that was cut was a key piece of cable for the power supply to Manchester Airport, but it was outside of, in fact, I can't remember which airport it was, guys. It may not even be in this country. But it doesn't matter. But the premise is still the same. But the piece of the piece of cable that was cut was just outside the airport security. So while the airport was very secure, it was also very vulnerable because there was this cable running into the airport that supplied it. Now, all these things, all our utilities, all our, daily life support, it's all very vulnerable to outside agencies, to third party contractors. And these people don't usually have that great security. So I'm going to give you a scenario now, guys. All right. Tell me how much you think it would cost to do this. and then tell me what you think the outcome would be, whether it would be devastating or not. So in the United Kingdom at the moment, we already know that our water system is an absolute shambles. Guys, and if you've not done it already, get yourself 3 litres of water per person per day and have enough for 3 days or more. So with a water system, imagine now you was an enemy, let's just say Russia, let's just say the scenario is the United Kingdom allow the Ukrainians to strike into Russia. They let the Ukrainians use Storm Shadow missiles to strike into Russia. The Ukrainians then target, on a mass scale, this nuclear power plant in Kursk. The power goes off in 19 regions of Russia. Imagine that's the scenario. Russia wants to strike back. Russia decides not to go for the British energy grid. They want to do something that's going to be more devastating, potentially. They want, and again, Russia you could also take this model for the power grid, but I'll come on to why I don't do that after. Now, Russia identifies the water because it's the easiest target, and they say, right, okay, we need to employ some criminal gangs. Remember, guys, this is Russia. They've got they've got a lot of money. They want to pay criminal gangs to go and destroy key water pumps, key water pipes in key locations. So they say, right, okay, I want 10 teams and I want you to all go and destroy, key pieces of water infrastructure. Now there's loads of these that it could be. It could be a pumping station. It could be junctions in the water pipes. It could be, outlets to reservoirs. It could be inlets. It could be sewage works, all sorts of stuff, because these things are not defended. You can go probably walk around your local reservoir. You can walk around there. Did anyone check you for security? Could you drive up there with a van full of equipment? Could you have drove up there with a still saw? So imagine now that Russia has paid 10 groups to take out 10 key pieces of infrastructure in the UK regarding their water, the water. Imagine if they're really clever and they take out pieces of infrastructure that they know can't be repaired. By that I mean, imagine if a pumping station or something has old pumps, and those pumps they don't build them anymore, or they have a certain type of screw that. And it's always something ridiculous like this, like that certain type of screw or that certain type of bolt has to be made at a certain factory, but that factory's gone bust and it's gone bust 10 years and, nobody's noticed because the pumps kept working and nobody's had to refurbish it. Imagine if 10 of these go down around the UK. Guys, where are we going to get all this bottled water from? Where are we going to get all this, all this infrastructure? We just don't have it in the United Kingdom. It's not there. It's not available. We don't have it. We're going to go directly to jail. Do not collect $200 to go directly to jail. That's going to be it. It's going to be off. Now, the situation in Europe is a lot worse. Now, I say the situation in Europe is a lot worse because of the amount of munitions that I'm speculating have been smuggled into mainland Europe from the war in Ukraine. I'm speculating, guys, that a ton of munitions have been brought from Ukraine, smuggled through whatever back channels, and I don't know what these back channels are, but I would assume that smugglers know how to smuggle stuff. Otherwise, they wouldn't be a successful smuggler, And I'm going to suspect a lot of these are already in mainland Europe. And I will also say, I think a lot of these are already in the United Kingdom. We're having these boats come over on a daily basis. I saw a video on, I can't remember what it was. It was on X, but I think it was GB News, where I think he was an ex-Royal Marine, although he said things and it may not have been, I'm not going to go into that. But anyway, so an ex-Royal Marine, a Welsh guy, he embedded himself in with these migrant camps in France. He then came over. He got all the way over to the shore without being intercepted by the RNLI. So what I'm going to speculate is these criminal gangs, remember guys, these are criminal gangs. These criminal gangs, when they come over, and I've said this so many times, they could have a black bag or a waterproof bag dangling behind the boat on a piece of rope, with a load of contraband in it. Now, whatever contraband that is, it could be whatever, but when they smuggle that over, if they're getting, if they get intercepted by the RNLI, they just let go of the rope. That sinks to the bottom of the, bottom of the water. Nobody knows anything about it. But if they're not intercepted, then they get over with that contraband, and it's double bubble for everyone, because they've got a load of contraband, and then that can be disseminated into these criminal gangs. So what would be the outcome of that, guys? What would be the outcome? And I've been warning of this for so long, that the United Kingdom, Europe, we are at risk of coordinated sabotage attacks. And the reality is, we're never going to be able to prove who's done this. It's a thing that's coming, and we really don't have any defense against this. Let me share you real quick this article from Sky News. Where are we? MI6 and CIA warn of reckless campaign of sabotage across Europe being waged by Russia. So Sir Richard Dickie Moore, I actually know a guy called Dickie Moore, but I doubt that's the same one. And Bill Burns did not list examples of, but there had been a spate of mysterious sabotage and arson attacks on infrastructure in the UK, Germany, and in the Baltics. Guys, remember when we reported on this? Remember when I shared these articles and I said, you know what, guys, I'm suspecting this is sabotage, but we obviously can never confirm these things. Well, it turns out we may have just been right. So let's just read it. So Richard Moore and Bill Burns also said the UK and the US faced an unprecedented array of threats, and said the entire world order, and under the most serious strain since the Second World War. In a newspaper article, the spy masters pointed to Vladimir Putin's war in Ukraine, while also describing China as the principal intelligence and geopolitical challenge of the 21st century. So, I'll put the link in the description, guys, but, they go on to talk about, sabotage and, things that could be happening. And, I think it's telling that they're coming out with this now, and they're telling us and warning us about this. Guys, I've been warning about this for such a long time. Be under no illusion. Sabotage is coming. And it's going to be like one of those things like hacking. You're never going to be able to prove it. The government are not going to want to talk about it, because they don't want it to look like they've lost control. But guys, tell me, are reservoirs defended? When you go and walk around your local reservoir, you walk your dog, you go with the kids, there's probably a little park there or something, you feed the ducks. Are there security guards there checking you? Are there police on the entry point saying, checking you for still saws? Because guys, I can go and buy a still saw for what are they, like 300 quid or something? Trust me, that is money well spent and given to a saboteur. They can, literally a still saw will take through, you'll get through pretty much any door and get into any pumping station. The reason I said people will target the water infrastructure before the electricity infrastructure is because there's minimum danger to you when you go into these pumping stations. Yes, you've got pressure and you've got the rest of it, but if you try cutting one of these electricity cables with a still saw, I'm going to assume if it's a big one, you're going to electrocute yourself. So you really need to know what you're doing when you do that. But with the water supply, literally any thug with a still saw, with a big hammer, can go and do, huge damage. And if this is coordinated, if this is a coordinated sabotage attack to the United Kingdom's water structure, guys, we don't have enough bottled water. And then what's going to happen is everybody, even if their water system's not being affected, everybody all of a sudden is just going to be going out buying bottled water. You're going to have the Karen factor. You're going to have Karen, who last week was a contagion expert. The week before that, she was a nuclear expert. Now Karen is an expert on how much water you need to drink per person per day. Guys, it's 3 liters of water per person per day. Just remember that fact and make sure you've got you've got enough for 3 days in your house. More if you can. Anyway, guys, that's it. I'm going to mag to grid, and I'll get you guys another video later.